Imagine a world where every word spoken on the global stage carries the weight of nations, where silence can be more powerful than shouting, and where one bold statement from a former U.S. president sends shockwaves across continents. Tonight, we enter that world. This is not just a story about Trump. This is not just a statement made across borders. This is a collision between power and principle, ego and diplomacy, thunder and silence. What did Trump really mean when he said, "My reply will silence Jaishankar"? Why did those words echo far beyond the headlines, stirring leaders from Washington to New Delhi, from Moscow to Beijing? In the next few minutes, you'll uncover the hidden layers behind that bold warning. You'll witness how a single exchange reveals the deeper battle shaping global alliances and future conflicts. Stay with me till the end, because what you're about to hear isn't just a speech. It's a mirror reflecting the future of diplomacy, the strength of India, and the return of a man who refuses to be ignored. This is the calm before the geopolitical storm. Let's begin. India's External Affairs Minister, Jaishankar, is widely known for his articulate and strategic approach to foreign policy. In a recent international forum, he offered a subtle yet sharp critique of the United States' previous administration, particularly referencing decisions made under Donald Trump's leadership. Though he didn't mention Trump by name, his words carried weight. Jaishankar emphasized that India's diplomacy is guided by strategic autonomy, national interest, and civilizational identity, not by pressure from global powers or shifting moods in Western capitals. He highlighted how India managed its relations with both Russia and the U.S. during turbulent times, subtly pointing out the inconsistencies in past American policies, especially regarding regional stability and defense cooperation. These remarks, while diplomatically phrased, were interpreted by many as a veiled jab at Trump's America First stance, which often left allies guessing and led to transactional behavior in international relations. Trump's abrupt decisions, such as halting aid or imposing tariffs on strategic partners like India, were not forgotten. Jaishankar's comments aimed to reaffirm India's position as a sovereign decision maker, not a junior partner in any alliance. This didn't go unnoticed. For a figure like Trump, whose political persona thrives on dominance and loyalty, such remarks are seen as provocations. Jaishankar was essentially drawing a line. India would engage with all powers, but on its own terms. This assertion of diplomatic independence, especially in the face of American totally unpredictability, was bold. In the language of geopolitics, it was both a message and a challenge. While couched in soft diplomatic language, it spoke volumes about the recalibrated balance India seeks to strike in a multipolar world, particularly when engaging with powerhouses like the United States under leaders who don't take kindly to critique, even indirect ones. Donald Trump has always been known for his direct, unapologetic, and sometimes confrontational communication style in the realm of diplomacy. He doesn't follow the traditional playbook of subtlety and cautious wording. Instead, he uses bold statements and unfiltered language to establish dominance and make his point clear, especially when he feels challenged. When Trump heard of Jaishankar's remarks, which subtly criticized his administration's foreign policy legacy, he didn't let it slide. For Trump, such critiques are not simply policy disagreements, they're personal affronts. His reaction was not designed for quiet diplomacy, but for maximum visibility. His warning, aimed directly at India and symbolically at Jaishankar, was crafted with a purpose: to seize control of the narrative. In a few sharp words, he shifted the focus from policy discussion to power assertion. His phrase, "My reply will silence Jaishankar," wasn't just a response. It was a calculated move to reassert authority on the global stage. Trump's style often blends media theatrics with geopolitical intent. This warning was a continuation of that pattern. He knew the statement would echo in newsrooms, trend on social platforms, and spark reactions from allies and adversaries alike. It served as both a warning shot and a public spectacle. Trump's messaging is designed to trigger reactions, gain attention, and remind the world that he doesn't operate by conventional norms. He understands that in the global arena, perception is as powerful as policy. By issuing a direct challenge, he positioned himself once again as the unpredictable force in international politics. His warning wasn't just about silencing one diplomat. The relationship between the United States and India has evolved into a strategic partnership over the years, but it remains complex and layered with competing interests. While both nations often align on democratic values and shared concerns like counterterrorism and Indo-Pacific stability, deep-rooted tensions remain. These tensions become more visible during leadership transitions, especially when personalities like Donald Trump are involved. India has pursued a policy of strategic autonomy, choosing to diversify its global partnerships rather than rely on any single power. This includes maintaining defense and energy ties with Russia, even when Washington expects alignment against Moscow. Trump's approach to foreign policy was often transactional, viewing alliances through the lens of immediate returns and deals rather than long-term partnership. This rubbed up against India's consistent refusal to be pressured into decisions that contradict its national interests. During his term, Trump expressed frustration over trade deficits with India, imposed tariffs, and even threatened retaliatory actions unless certain trade conditions were met. These actions created friction despite high-level summits and public displays of friendship. In the current climate, when Jaishankar speaks of India's independent foreign policy, it directly contrasts with Trump's preference for loyal, one-directional alliances. Trump's recent warning can be seen as a reaction not just to personal criticism, but to a broader frustration with India's refusal to conform. As geopolitical tensions rise, especially with China and Russia in the picture, the U.S. expects more alignment from India, while India insists on charting its own course. Trump's statement taps into this friction, using blunt language to highlight a larger issue: the gap between how the U.S. views its alliances and how India sees its sovereign choices. His warning symbolizes the emergence of unresolved tensions that could define future engagements if not managed. The role of media in amplifying political statements has become more critical than ever, especially when those statements come from figures like Donald Trump. His recent warning to India, framed as a direct message to silence Jaishankar, quickly became headline material across global news outlets. Media platforms thrive on controversy, conflict, and bold rhetoric, and Trump's choice of words delivered exactly that. With his history of commanding attention through provocative language, the press did not treat this as a routine political comment, but rather as a declaration with serious diplomatic undertones. News channels, digital platforms, and social media influencers dissected the statement, reinterpreted its tone, and speculated on its broader consequences. What could have remained a singular quote quickly evolved into a full-blown narrative, pitting Trump's forceful rhetoric against Jaishankar's strategic subtlety. The framing of headlines often position this as a clash of titans, an American power player versus India's diplomatic architect. In doing so, media didn't just report the event, they shaped public perception and influenced political reactions on both sides. The use of emotionally charged phrases like silence Jaishankar added fuel to the fire, prompting debates about arrogance, respect, and geopolitical assertiveness. Social media accelerated this process, with viral videos, reaction threads, and trending hashtags transforming a political remark into a global conversation. In many ways, the media's treatment of Trump's warning elevated its significance far beyond its original context. For Trump, this media amplification works in his favor, reinforcing his image as a leader who commands attention and challenges norms. For India, it raised the stakes, making Trump's warning to India carries more than just rhetorical weight. It signals potential changes in the trajectory of U.S.-India relations should he return to power. During his first term, Trump frequently viewed foreign relations through the lens of transaction, what America gives versus what it gets. This approach often clashed with India's broader diplomatic principles of strategic autonomy and multipolar engagement. While ties between the two nations remained largely intact, underlying tensions around trade imbalances, defense deals, and India's ties with Russia were never fully resolved. Trump's statement about silencing Jaishankar, while dramatic, suggests a possible return to that hard-nosed, conditional style of diplomacy. Under Trump, future engagement with India may include more rigid expectations regarding defense purchases, voting patterns at the UN, and stances on global conflicts, particularly related to China and Russia. India's neutral stance on Ukraine, for instance, might become a sticking point in any renewed Trump administration. This warning is not merely an emotional reaction to criticism. It is a potential policy signal. It reflects Trump's frustration with allies who don't fall in line and his preference for strongman diplomacy where loyalty is expected and public criticism is punished. For India, this would mean preparing for a less flexible, more demand-driven partner in Washington. While current U.S. policy under Biden has tried to balance cooperation with respect for India's independence, Trump's possible return could disrupt that equilibrium. This shift might force India to either recalibrate its strategic positions or brace for diplomatic pushback. In either case, the warning underlines a key truth. U.S.-India relations are not immune to political shifts. A Trump-led administration would likely bring the global response to Trump's warning has been one of cautious observation, strategic recalculation, and quiet anticipation. World powers like China, Russia, and key European nations are closely watching the verbal duel between Trump and Jaishankar, not merely as a bilateral issue, but as a signal of shifting geopolitical dynamics. In international relations, words are not just expressions, they are moves on a global chessboard. When Trump issued a bold warning implying that he could silence India's foreign minister, it wasn't just India that took notice. For China, any disruption in U.S.-India ties can open strategic space in the Indo-Pacific, a region where it seeks dominance and where India plays a vital counterbalancing role. A divided or distracted U.S.-India axis serves Beijing's long-term interests. For Russia, which enjoys a historical and defense-based relationship with India, this tension offers reassurance that New Delhi will continue resisting Western pressure and maintain its independent stance, especially regarding energy and military ties. Meanwhile, European allies of both the U.S. and India view this development with concern. Stability in the U.S.-India relationship is crucial to maintaining a multipolar world order where Western democracies collaborate with rising powers like India. Trump's unpredictable approach adds uncertainty, and global actors are recalibrating their expectations based on how India responds. Some are assessing whether this signals a deeper rift in U.S. foreign policy coherence, especially if Trump reclaims leadership. Others are evaluating India's resolve in maintaining its strategic independence under pressure. In every case, Trump's words have pushed the international community to rethink alignments and prepare for a future where power may be asserted more forcefully and alliances tested more frequently. This isn't just about one leader versus another. It's a moment where global strategy adjusts in response to personality-driven politics with real consequences. What we've witnessed is more than just an exchange of words between two powerful voices. It's a window into the future of global diplomacy. When Donald Trump warns of silencing a statesman like Jaishankar, it reveals the friction between two worldviews, one driven by personal dominance and the other by strategic restraint. In this moment, the world is not just listening, they're learning. Learning how leaders react under pressure, how nations choose dignity over provocation, and how diplomacy, when tested, can either fracture or forge stronger bonds. This is not the end of a conversation, it's the beginning of a new chapter, where every word counts, every gesture matters, and every silence speaks volumes. What comes next will define not only U.S.-India relations, but the spirit of international cooperation in a time of uncertainty. To all watching and listening, thank you for walking this journey of insight and reflection. May you carry forward the understanding that real strength lies not in how loud we speak, but in how wisely we respond. Stay aware, stay inspired, and may your voice, like theirs, carry the power to change the world. Good luck and thank you.